Why has no company ever done this before? We've got an RC crawler and I'm fitting in this nitro 4-stroke engine. Look at that, it's got a cam belt, fan there, 2-speed auto transmission, 2-speed manual transmission. I mean, why has no company given us something like this yet? And I know there's been a couple of other YouTubers that have done this. There's Dennis Dempsey and there's RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7 that have beat me to it. And as far as I know, Engine DIY, he was the first to do it. But I'm pretty sure that if a company was to make one, then it would be pretty popular. But they don't. So we have to DIY it and make something ourselves. Want to make some extra cash so you can buy more toys, quit your job, go on more holidays, or maybe build a monster truck? I've got you covered. Check out my course in the description and I'll show you how to make 100k profit a year. Guys, so in this video I'm going to carry on with installing this 4-stroke engine into this rock crawler here. I'm going to put a link up here to the playlist of where we done this build and where we got to this point so far. So just as a quick recap, I've got the engine and the transmission mounted onto this plate. Then I've got universal joints here going into another transmission here. So this gearbox here is a 2-speed auto. It's got reverse and a disc brake. And then this transmission here is a 2-speed manual. So I'm hoping that we can crawl this really, really slowly and actually use it as a proper crawler, then chuck it into like second gear and it's going to go a little bit faster as well. Now I did sort of bodge up a shaft that's in there and I will need to make a proper one because as that's turning, look, you can see the whole transmission. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's kind of wobbling up and down. And I want to mount this plate here to the chassis here, but if that's all wobbling, it's you can't really. So for now, I'm just going to mount it on the front, let the back sort of wobble about a bit just to test the concept. And then if it all works out and it seems to have enough power and enough speed, I might just quickly hook up a throttle servo just to see this thing move. Then later on, I'm going to make a proper shaft on here. Stempy's got a lathe, machine up a proper shaft, make sure that it's properly round, not wobbling around, and then mount this plate in properly. Originally, what I was going to do, I was going to mount this body shell here a little bit higher. So if we just quickly put the body on the front here, I've still got the bed laying back there, look. We just plonk that there where it naturally sits. If we come around the front here, we can see that the engine is sitting way, way, way too low. It's sitting on top of the differential there. And if we push the suspension down, it doesn't move because the top of the engine is actually touching here on the top of the hood or the bonnet. So a few of you guys in the comments actually said, why don't I cut a little section out here and have it poking out the top, because it is almost the same colour look. And I think that's probably going to be what I'm going to do. What I was originally going to do was just to lift the body up slightly, maybe lift up the body to there somewhere like that, then I can move the engine up. But I think for now what I'm going to do, I'm going to mount the engine where it kind of sits nice, and then we're going to work about lifting the body, cutting a hole in here and worry about all that lot afterwards. For now, I just want to get it running. But the beauty about having this universal joint here is that we can play with different angles and have it set to the point where it's all going to kind of work out the best. Also, I need to make some spacers to put underneath the transmission here, look. And I think these parts here from an old X-Max chassis are going to be perfect. Oh, subscribe! So there we go, we've now got the engine and the gearbox permanently mounted. Perfect mesh shed, we've got the gearbox spacers in. I did a slight boo-boo underneath, I didn't quite work out the hole slots perfectly, so I had to kind of oval them out a little bit. But the engine's in, the engine's tight, it meshes up perfectly. And this is just a prototype at the moment. If this all turns out to be perfect, I'm probably going to end up remaking all this and making it nice. At the moment, it's just a quick mock-up just to make sure that it even works. Ow! So I've just screwed this whole motor transmission assembly back in. So now I've got to figure out the perfect height to run it at. And that would put the engine height to here. So that's giving us that much suspension movement still. The engine, I don't know, that could be pretty perfect. So we're going to bolt it in there. So there we go, the engine is temporarily bolted in. I mean, I'm going to make up some spacers and do all this properly later on. You know, as I keep saying, it's just a proof of concept at the moment. I've got to make sure it works. There's no point spending hours and hours and hours making it perfect and it doesn't work. But anyway, it's in there tight enough for it to actually work. I think I probably should rig up some sort of a servo so I can do the throttle. Steering wise, I still need to come up with something. Originally the servo, where's it gone? This one here was mounted up on top of the axle like that. But now with the engine there isn't enough room to put it there because we're not going to have any suspension. So I need to move it somewhere else. So if I put it there, it's too far forward. It's going to poke out the front. I've got this little low profile servo here. But even with that there at the front, it's going to be in the way. It's going to be sticking out too far. Something that I want to do, and I'm not fully sure yet how, is I could relocate the servo into the chassis here. And then if I can get like some sort of a drive shaft, and somehow, I don't know how, at the moment, all I'm thinking is glue. And then I could have the drive shaft going through there like that. I could put the servo horn on the end of the drive shaft like that, and it's going to work. So the concept, super easy. But how I'm going to attach everything to everything is a bit tricky. I mean, I've got a welder, but it can't weld aluminium at the moment because it's broken. And so welding at the moment is not an option unless I can find a steel servo horn and a steel rod. Then that would work. So if anybody knows of a steel servo horn that's made out of steel, then I could put in a steel rod. The whole thing's going to work. So let me know in the comments if any of you guys know if that exists. Or even if you don't know, how do you reckon is going to be the best way of attaching that onto there? This is plastic, this is aluminium. I don't know. Can I just put a load of glue on there? But for now, I'm just going to temporarily mock up a throttle servo so that at least we can start the engine and give it a little drive under its own power. And I want to get that done in this video. And then in the next videos, I want to get all the proper mounts done, get all the linkages wired up and everything. Remember, this is just temporary, guys. Yeah, guys, you can laugh at my hot glue, but it's only temporary. It will be made better, don't worry. So there we have it. We have temporary steering and temporary throttle. And then the tank, I'm just going to temporarily just mount it up on top here for now. Alright, there we go. We should be able to now put some fuel in there and hopefully get it started. Now, I haven't got a clue what this plug here is for. I know on the Revo it plugs into some sort of a control module. I'm not really sure what it does. I don't know if it's even going to change gear with it not connected. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know what this does. So for now, to start it up, I've got a speed controller here plugged into the starter motor on the car. And I've got that going into a servo tester and just running it on a 2-cell LiPo. At the moment, it's all a big gobbly goop and a load of mess. When it comes to building this properly, then I'm going to have a separate radio where I've got an on-off switch on the radio so we can start this engine up from the remote control. I'm going to have to find a way as well of rigging up a remote glow starter so the glow starter only comes on when you actually start the engine, and then when the engine started, the power to the glow plug goes off. But for now, that should get it running. Watch. There we go. So once it's started, we can disconnect it, and then hopefully, guys, it's going to move. Oh, man, it's a complete mess at the moment, but it will get better, don't worry. Oh, man. Oh, that's got some power, man. Jesus, that's got power. Almost too much. All right, so for first go, I would say it's a semi-success. It does move, and it's got so much torque. I mean, so much torque that I couldn't even hold to, stop it from moving. I mean, I probably could, but it would probably break the transmission somewhere. But that really is crazily low geared and has an insane amount of torque. So torque-wise is not a problem, but it is very slow. And this gearbox was not hitting second gear because the two-stroke engines that you find in like a Revo 3.3, whatever it is, a Nitro, they rev a lot higher, so it makes it go into second gear. So you can adjust the shift point, so I will do that. So once it hits second gear, that definitely will go a lot faster. Also, this transmission here, I'm not sure if it was hitting second gear or not. I was playing about with the linkage here, but it didn't really seem to make much difference. So I'm going to have a little look at that, see what's going on. Because I'm thinking that this is stuck in first gear, and this is stuck in first gear. That's just making it crazy slow. But once this hits second, and we put this one into second, it should make it faster. So then hopefully we've got the best of both worlds. We've got the really, really low gearing for some crazily, really, scale and slow and controlled crawling. And then if you want a bit more wheel speed, stick it into second gear and it will go faster. That's what I'm hoping anyway. I mean, if all else goes to fail, I'm going to have to find a bigger clutch bell, maybe a smaller spur gear, and we can do the same down here. Look, we can fit a much bigger pinion that will make it go a little bit faster as well. So still things that we can do to speed it up, but for now, I'm over the moon that it even moves. Definitely this thing here needs to be sorted out. I can see that whole transmission wobbling about as it's going around. But the concept's there. The concept works. And I think it's worth continuing with this project and turning it into something really epic. I mean, I'd love to turn up at like a crawler event somewhere and just use it. And people don't even know that it's Nitro. I mean, once we get the proper exhaust pipe on there, I want to tube it out, get a bit of brass tubing, have it coming out the back. People might even think there's like a sound module in there. No one's going to think there's actually a Nitro crawler. And this engine idles so nicely. It runs so well that you can just have it sitting there idling. And yeah, I'm too excited now. Smash the subscribe button, smash the bell, and there will be another video fairly soon once I've figured out how to do the rest of it. So from now on, it's going to be tidying it up, making it better, and making it all fully functionable. But there will be more videos, not sure when, but there will be soon. So make sure you subscribe and smash the bell so you don't miss it. But for now, I'm going to put a playlist up here from all the other builds of this. So I will see you over on one of my other videos.